the while, same kind of thing. In the while statement, if you see, we are dividing this in three parts. Okay, so let me give more clarity on this. In the while, first I initialize what value is. Okay, then if you see, I check the condition. Okay, then I have increment, or you can say decrement of initialized value. Correct? I initialize some value to a variable that I am checking here condition. Then I'm doing increment decrement. So all this in initialization, checking of condition, and increasing decreasing the value, I am doing in three different statements, three different lines. So in the for loop, what happen? Same while loop we can convert into for loop with one statement. If you go to for loop statements, what happen? The syntax we used to write like this. So for using the for keyword, then all the three activity what you do here, initialize, check condition, or increment decrement, whatever you do, everything I will write here. So first we will do initialization here. Okay, first, then I can give my semicolon. Okay, then what I can do my condition check here. Okay, then I can do my increment or decrement like this. Then I can write what the statement I want to execute like this. So see, this statement what I've written, if I try to convert to for loop, what I do here, I wrote for. Okay, so I'm just going to print the count statement. Simply I'm writing inside this. So now initially my count is, let's consider, equal to 1, and I want to print for 10 times. That means till the time count is less than 10, I want to print. See, if you see count equal to 1, the first initialization what I did during the while, then my condition check count less than 10 condition, and this one. So simply I can write the syntax is going to be for my initialization. Okay, then the condition check what we do, then increment or decrement, you can do count plus plus or count minus minus, whatever you want. Okay, then inside this you can write your statements whatever you want. Correct? Same thing I'm doing here. If you see in the while loop, whatever I have, same thing I executed here. And if I try to execute this, you see I'm going to get the same output. Nothing but I'm going to execute this statement multiple times. I'm looping on this statement multiple times till my condition matches. Okay, so if I go here, let me take the debug statement, say 1 2 3 4 5 9. Okay, any question on this two line of code?
Yeah, no nemesis.
Rashmi?
Yeah.
Perfect. So now if you see the looping, whatever I'm doing, I know 10 times I need to do. Correct? So after 10 times, this will loop will execute. I'll check count is 1. How it happened? So first my count variable is 1. Okay, then I will check 1 is less than 10. Yes, satisfied. Then I will go and execute my statement print 1. Then I will increment it. So now my value became 2. Then again I will check this 2 less than 10. Yes. Then I will go print 2. Okay, after execution of line completed, then again I will increment my value using my count plus plus whatever I have here. 2 plus 1 going to be 3. Then 3 less than 10. Condition check. Yes. Then I'll go and print 3. Like this, I'm continuing my for loops. Okay. So now what I'm happening, and I know I'm just comparing with 10. I know what is the complete value what I want to compare here in the compile time or maybe in the runtime. I know. So let's see. I'll give you one looping statements. Okay. You will tell me how we are going to do it. Okay. So now very basic examples. Let's consider you have a big furniture shop. Okay. You have a furniture shop. Okay. Now what's going to happen on this furniture shop? There is one lorry where you got so many furnitures. There is some kind of lorry you have, okay, where you got some furnitures. Okay. So now you have some laborers who are going to take the furniture from this lorry to your inventory or somewhere. Okay, they'll carry this. Let's consider by carrying this lorry. So that means if you have two labor, okay, so they are consider one, not two labor, one labor. Take the example of one labor. So what is going to happen? This labor will come and take all the furniture and keep in inventory. So that means the taking of this furniture, keeping in inventory is looking for that labor. That means multiple times doing the same activity. He cannot take all the furniture in a single shot and keep in inventory. He will carry one by one. So now see, when this lorry came, or when this, let's say, truck came, so does this labor know how many furnitures are there? We have many, maybe 10, maybe 20, maybe 50, maybe one also. This guy doesn't know how many times he need to loop. Nothing but can I say, this guy doesn't know this condition, how many times this guy need to loop. Am I correct? It may happen
Yes.
like this also. So now what happened? So these furniture, so whatever thing we have, it's a collection of elements for me. Many elements are there, correct? So many furnitures are there. So his job, go take all one by one and keep in my inventory till the time all furnitures are not cleared. So go, come, take this furniture, keep here. Again come, take this furniture, keep here. Again come, take this furniture, keep here. Till the time all the furnitures are not over, he will go and pick one by one from the truck and keep in my inventory. We do like this. Am I correct? Manas?
Yes, Devesh. Yes.
Okay. So whenever this kind of looping, we don't know how many time we need to execute the condition we don't know, or we want to loop on each element or each item, then what we do, we can use something called for each. Something called for each loop. See the statement like this for, again that's a for statement only, okay? But technically we call it as a for each loop, where you see the variable, okay? I'm just writing the statement here, okay? So now it's my collection, okay? Then it's going to happen my statements. So see, what are the collection? Nothing but in this example what I said, how many furnitures you have, that collection, take one by one element and process it. Take one furniture and keep in inventory. That kind of example. Till the time this collection not empty, continue my execution. Okay. For a example, if I say, okay, in my Apex terminology, I want to process all case records of a customer. Okay, so what you do? See, I didn't teach you how to get the data from database. Okay, I didn't teach you the collection till now, which we will cover in the upcoming sessions. But for an example, I'm just giving you this one, so you can understand or you can map how this for loop happens. Let's consider this customer have now 10 cases. One customer have, let's say my customer one have 10 case records for today, or maybe in the month of January, you are having 10 case records. But in the month of July, he may have the 100 records in the case subject, 100 case records. So now, in the month of January, when I'm looping only 10 case records. But when I'm looping on this, I'm looping on the 100 case records. So this, I want to loop on each record, and I want to process my logic on each record. Okay, like carry one furniture, keep an inventory. Same way, carry one case record, process it. Carry next case record, process it. Like that. Okay, so now 100 case nothing but my collection of records. Same way. How we can do? Let's see what we are doing on this example. Okay, so let's consider I'm writing one collection element. Okay, don't worry how I'm writing. I'll tell you in the next session. Okay, we have a collection we didn't discuss. We'll discuss in upcoming session. Let's consider I have some collection which I give as a list of integer. I'll tell what it is. Okay. Let's see. It is my int list, and I said my new list of integers. Okay. And on this, I may have many records, maybe 10, 20, 30, 40, any number of records I may have. Okay. I'll teach you this completely in the upcoming sessions. Now I want to loop on this. So what I can do, I am going to write what is my collection. My collection is int list. Always after the colon symbol, you will have the collection. Then this collection contains what kind of data? It's a collection of integer type of data. So my variable, let's see, I will say I list. Okay. Then you can process your logic. Let's see, I'll write my system to debug some statement here. Let's see, I list value. I can do something like this. Okay. Getting my point? So let's see. And as I didn't teach you anything about the list, just I'm giving the sample definitions, nothing else. Okay. So if you see these statements, this is my collection, this is my each variable, then how many element I have on this collection, process it. So I'm not showing the output of this because as I didn't tell you this collection, I'm not going to do anything here. But in the next session, when I will tell these collections, and I'll show you how this is happening. So this kind of loop, whenever I write, it is called for each statement. So for each element of the collection, process the logic. Like for each case record of this customer, process some logic. So that time when you want, I can go for each loop. Okay, the for each loop defines like this: for the variable part, then on which collection, then my logic. Any question till now? Yeah, my name is Rasmi Lokesh. Any
No, sir.
confusion?
No.
So this for loop and while, do while, I hope it is clear for you. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not going more today. Okay, these are the basics which we need to know before writing my program. Okay, and tomorrow we'll discuss about the collection. What is the list? What is the set? What is the map? Okay, that are the, I can say, next important thing in Salesforce Apex to know: list, set, map. Okay, we'll discuss that in the next session. Okay, then we'll go to the core programming slowly. Okay, these are the basic information what you need. If you open any classes or anything in your org, you will see there will be mostly one if statement. There will be mostly for loop statements. Okay, anyhow the variable declaration and a class, everything will be there. Okay, so what I'm discussing, you will see everything will be in your org.
Debasis.
Yes, Lucas.
Just with curiosity, I'm asking. Just I don't want to say don't. Most of the times we will not use while and do while, right? In Apex.
Yes. See, normally depending on the business requirement. So mostly the logic what you see, we use. See, this for is the replacement of while you can use anytime. Okay.
Yeah.
So simply in that case, for is skipped. Okay. And do while scenario is depending on the scenario. If without condition you want to do something, then you can use do while. Okay. At least one time you want to execute. And this kind of scenario may fall very less times. Okay. So you may not see do while. Okay. But it may be used. But see, if this for, see, let's see, consider I want to process my logic in this part. Whenever there is any case record, I want to process. But if I want also check if there is no case record, I want to do some other activities. Okay, if my condition not satisfying, I want to do something else. Okay, at least once I want to process this logic and then continue if my condition satisfying. If this kind of requirement comes, then you have to go for do while. Do while is not the replacement of while or for, but for is the replacement of while. So in your org you can see for loop many. Okay, and follow nothing but you will see maximum this one for